What's up, Diamond? Yo,
What's up, bro?
what's up, Chief?
So yeah, man, she's been blowing me up on like 17 different cell phone numbers
That's crazy.
because she found out I've been going out with this girl for almost a month and we're having a good time and everything's great.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, man, she started blowing me up. Said, I thought you cared about me and my kids. I thought you weren't gonna move on. She's like, and she started insulting me, saying, "Hey, you're a piece of shit," and blah blah blah. And I was like, block.
Block. There you go.
And I was like, you're the one who wanted this to end.
You cheated.
Yeah, and then she's like, I want to break. That's what she said to me initially.
Okay.
And she's like, well, I need time to figure out what I want to do. Then I told her that before I blocked her, I was like, the only reason why you wanted to break is because you wanted to have other interactions with other men, and when you find out they didn't follow through with it and they weren't what you wanted, you thought I'd be on the back burner after you got me hooked,
Right.
waiting in the background, waiting to save
Right.
you when you're in trouble from that tower.
Yep.
And I was like, now you're living in your daddy's basement, watching 4 kids with no job,
Ooh.
can't even get welfare,
Ooh.
and you're having sex with guys just for weed.
Ooh. Get him.
And I was like, you really ain't ready for the new man I am.
Right. I knew when we had our conversation, I'm like, if he actually takes this advice, this is going to shock her so much because what she tried to play, the move she tried to make, she never in a million years thought you were going to dip out.
Well, the thing is she's contacted my ex-wife's boyfriend trying to get information from my kids about me. And I was like, can you get any crazier?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm out here living my best life, with this, I'm having a good time with a girl, getting promoted.
Right.
Taking all the good advice you've been given.
Yeah.
And now, out of nowhere, she's trying to blow me up on different burner numbers and stuff, trying to say, hey, what happened? You waiting for me? And I was like, what really happened is I found my manhood.
Right.
I don't need any washed up women in my life who want to drag me down.
That's it. Here we go. How did that feel, getting it off?
To be honest with you, man, it felt like it was a chip on my shoulder.
Right.
And to be honest with you, spitting facts is it just added more fuel to my fire.
Mm-hmm.
Just to go to show that I don't need to have somebody like that in my life bringing me down.
Right.
I need a woman in my life who's going to be at my level or higher.
Mm. I'm with you, man. So hopefully you found that. I know. So things are going good with Shorty you met recently.
Yeah, we're going to California here in a couple weeks.
Okay. Nice. Where y'all at now? Like, where do you stay? What state?
I live in Ohio.
Okay.
And she lives in Northern Kentucky, so I live in Cincinnati.
Okay.
But yeah, man, everything is good, man. And as soon as I leveled up with the girl at the Starbucks, and I leveled up again when I told that girl off.
Mm-hmm. There we go. So you vibrating high right now.
Oh man, I'm telling you what, if I vibrate anymore, I might need a new rock.
There we go.
To be honest with you, man, you don't know what your self-worth is because you got to put the work in too.
Right.
You can only give out so much advice, but unless people are willing to take that advice and work on themselves, they ain't got no hope.
That's it. That's why I charge for coaching. People come on these lives and they're like, they get the free advice, which does help, but it's not going to get you there, right? They're going to have a deeper, obviously, offer where they actually pay for the coaching, where we go a lot deeper for transformation. But that the active payment is what puts skin in the game. The active payment is how they hold themselves accountable, right?
And the thing is, man, like that active payment, holding people accountable, still ain't going to do nothing unless that person decides to do something for themselves.
Ultimately, the action is all that matters. Absolutely. It's not the insight. So what you're basically saying is like people go and they get like the dopamine hit. They think that if they understand something, now they can control it. It's partially true, but that's only if you do the uncomfortable thing like you did. It's very uncomfortable for you to end your relationship. That's why you called in initially. All right?
And the thing is I'm getting religion back in my life again.
Hey.
I'm trying to be who I thought I was, and being a man, trying to give everything you want to a woman, like how a man's designed to do.
Uh-huh.
and protect his family and
Right.
show his kids how to treat people.
Right.
And you get lost sometimes, especially when you don't know about your self worth. I think your self worth is the number one thing on the totem pole for anybody in this stream. Because the thing is, if you don't care about yourself and you don't take care of yourself, you ain't got no business out there taking care of nobody else and trying to be with somebody else.
Right. 100%. 100%. I'm glad we woke you up, man. This is a completely different energy you called in with originally.
Yeah, man. The thing is, I'm tired of the weights holding me down. And I've been telling people in my life and showing them, like, hey, if you ain't here to help me and to boost me, I don't need you in my life.
Can people outside of like your romantic connections see the difference?
Yeah.
Friends and
Like,
family?
I went to work the other day and my boss said, hey, man, you're glowing, bro. What's going on? I was like, you know what, man? Sometimes you gotta get rid of the old stuff to get the new stuff in.
Right. I love to
And
hear it,
everybody's
Justin.
looking at me like, you seem like you just got so much more energy and you're happy and when you walk into a room, you know you're in that room.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's called grabbing your masculinity back, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Shorty was an energy drain. And when you cut
And
her off, you got all the energy back.
Man, her ass was trying to fill a cup with a hole in the bottom of it with her.
Mm-hmm.
And you just can't ever fill it up, no matter what you do.
Right.
And then you're sitting there with nothing in your cup, and that's not going to help you with nothing.
Right.
And with this new girl, she showed me stuff in relationships I thought were something I had to earn. But I don't have to earn it in this relationship.
Right.
It's natural.
It's freely given.
Yeah, like I don't got to ask for it. There's no anticipation.
Yeah.
There's no transactional things. It's just given.
Right.
And in that past relationship, I thought everything I had to earn everything. And I found out when you love somebody or you care about somebody, you don't got to earn shit from them. Mm-hmm. It's either there or it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people who are in love or in relationships who they care about people, they forget about that stuff. They spend so much time trying to prove that they're worth to somebody, they forget they're worth themselves.
Right. I love it, man. I love it, bro. I got to move on, though, big dog, but I appreciate you calling in with the update. I hope you enjoy the California trip, man. I'm glad to see that you made the hard decision and it's paying off for you.
I don't know why it was hard for her.
Right.
Looking back at it, I'm like, why the hell did I do this sooner?
Yeah.
But, thanks for your advice, man. And anybody out here wanting to jump in and do hard shit, man, he's the man to do it with.
My man. I appreciate you, Justin.
Yep.
All right, take care. My man did a 180. Some of y'all are relatively new here. I want to hear when Justin called in, like, what was it, a month ago? It's about a month ago. Girl cheated on him, right? Cheated on him. I don't know how long they were dating, how long they were in a relationship for. But she cheated on him and then blamed him for it. She said that he was triggering her trauma and she had to cheat on him. So when he called in originally, he was like, 6 months relationship, okay. So when he called in originally, he was like, what can I do to help her, right? What can I do to improve the relationship? And I was like, improve the relationship? So I had to get real stern with him, right? Because sometimes you got to shake people awake. You got to shake them awake, right? And I had to shake Justin awake. And I had to get real stern with him on that call, right? Out of love. And he called back in maybe 2 weeks later, a week or 2 weeks later. Completely different energy. The energy y'all just saw, that was the energy he had when he called back in. And he was like, yeah, I broke up with her. And then he called back in like a week after that and was like, I met a new one. So I went to a coffee shop, just approached her. We like to see that, man. That's why I tell guys, have a bias towards action. Like, look at how much growth has occurred in a very short amount of time with him. Think about where you are psychologically to even be like, someone cheated on me, gaslit me to think that it was my fault. How do I improve my connection with them? You go from that frame of mind to like, you break up with them. Then you get a new one who's of higher quality, who you're still dealing with, who you're planning a trip with right now. Love to see it, man. Love to see it. All right, people. This is Dating and Relationship Q&A. If you have any questions pertaining to dating and relationships, you can request up. You can also drop your question in the chat. I will get to it there. Just be advised, callers get first priority. All right. This is not matchmaking. This is only for dating and relationship questions, not matchmaking. Okay. Yeah, he was like, and she's a nerd. And she's a nerd, bro. Yeah. We like the nerds. I call it quirky. Like, I like the quirky ones. Nerd, For me, sure. Quirky. That's what I like. I like some quirk. Huh? Like a little quirk. Quirk that can twerk. That's what I like. Some quirk that can twerk. Is Shorty gonna actually come up? Until she get on your nerves. Who? Don't be projecting on me, Natalie. Hello.
Hi, good morning. Oh, good evening.
You in the tub?
Yes, I'm bathing, but in the evening, like, I hope the water is not disturbing.
Okay, cool. What's going on? You got a question for me?
Yes, I do. So I'm not a very strict Christian. I'm spiritual, but I'm Christian.
Okay.
And what I realized that when I came here, I went on 3 dates. And these 3 dates, one of them was a very, very grounded Christian who gave me a condition on dating. He says, if you want to be my wife, you have to, be ready to fold your sleeves and get in the mud with me and to help me build what I'm building. So I say, well, it's not, I do like charity work, but maybe not in your line. I'll help you with the network. I'll help you with anything. The only thing I'm not ready for is to be a pastor's wife because it has very heavy responsibility and I don't think I'm ready, but I love you. So during that process of time, he wanted more access to me and he was violent. He didn't stand. There were certain traits that were not really standing as the character that he was portraying as, a man of God.
Right.
So, but then I walked away silently without saying anything. Later on, I sent a message. I said, I think he didn't give me peace because of certain things. I haven't said more, but those are some things that stood out for me. He was always not showing up the way that he represented himself. Why I'm asking is, for the second one, it was the same thing. He says, it's too, I'm backward thinking because I'm coming from Africa. I believe in stable relationship that you have to get to know someone. And for me, dating is in the end when you're comfortable, you introduce families and everything. But I was told, this guy told me that in American culture, you can move in together, you can even have sex. Before anything else, you have to bond and have to know if we match energetically. And I don't want to just marry someone I've not really known. So for me, it was very off. And when I did resist that, and I just walked away anyway because I wasn't comfortable with that. The third person also was the same thing. He was like, no, American culture, you are coming from Africa, it's very backward of you to think that you can only have sex after some time. When you have chemistry, you have to just do everything, or you can move in together. So my question is it American to move in and have sex before everything else and maybe get married without anyone else being involved? You like each other, just go boom. So wild. I don't know. I just want to know more about it.
I mean, if the question is, do a lot of people do it? Yeah. But that don't mean you have to do it. Who says you got to follow the cultural script? You don't have to do that.
Well, I was so shocked because I tried like 2 Caucasian men and the last one was African American. And this African American, very, very beautiful heart. All these people had kind hearts. But the only thing is they really, really wanted so much sex more than having to build a relationship or trying to get to know me, or maybe, okay, what is it that I like, or what is it that we can adjust. Of course, maybe some things I was ready to do that, but I was not ready to sleep with someone before I get to know them better. Maybe you go out on a few dates and get to know how he behaves with his family. Maybe I get to know his friends or something like that. So now I'm thinking, am I too much, or is it that I'm the one that's overthinking, or maybe is it something like maybe I put my bar too high, or am I too backward thinking?
No, I don't think so. How are you meeting these men?
So the first one was my friend, and we were friends before, and he was very good, the church one. And then the other one, I met him on the road when I was taking a walk. Then I stopped by the grocery store, and then he liked me. We were just chatting, and from chatting, and then I went on a few dates, and then I realized that this person had been in jail for over 26 years, and he says I've learned my lesson. Very good person. But then there were certain traits that were really scary for me, and I said, "Oh, okay," because when especially when he was angry, he was cursing too much, and he wanted, he forgot. It's like he's another version when he's angry. So I got scared, and I just had to walk away from there. This one, the third one, I met on Facebook dating app, and very calm and good career, everything good, but except that he says, well, he believes in open relationship, that I want you to be my girlfriend, but I also want other people get involved in the relationship. So for me, it was, I'm not saying it's wrong, other people do it, but I don't think I'm comfortable to share my man with any man or woman in the relationship. Once I choose my man, that man is mine alone. I don't want to share my man with any other person, because I commit, I give you my life, I trust you.
Okay,
So
I
I
got you.
don't
I got you.
expect
I got you,
you
love.
to start saying,
Oh, hold
yeah.
on. We're getting way into the weeds. What is your question?
So my question is, I want to know if, am I too much, or is it American too, or do you think I should adjust, or do you think
You just gave me two. You just gave me two experiences. That's not enough, right? Like, you can't say, okay, I've dated two men. This was my experience. The culture is backwards, huh? It's like, no, there's two people. There's millions of people over here. So date more people and find people that have similar values than you do. You found men who are incompatible with you. Okay, it happens. Okay, once you know y'all are incompatible, find someone who's more compatible with you.
So I wanted to ask, how do you find good men? it's silly, but really, I want a good man. A good man, I mean, someone that really, he doesn't even need to have like a money or something, but someone that has respect, that how he handles conflict, especially when they are angry. I really care so much. It's like it's very common here, people curse in every sentence. They put a curse. A curse. So for me, I don't know. It's I really want a good man who has respect for himself and also has some sense of spirituality. Is kind. You know. Yeah, I'm looking for that one. So, but you said you're not a matchmaking, but you can give me a guide, like where to find these people, because dating apps is it's tiring. It's like you're going on traffic, like you're in a market. Like it doesn't make me feel very comfortable.
Right. Yeah, I don't recommend dating apps. You got to take more of a community approach. So I tell people to put themselves in static environments. That's environments where they see the same people over and over again, and then just mix and mingle with people. So, dating apps, you're going to find people who mostly just want to hook up. That's really what dating apps are for, right? So if you don't want that, then get off of them, okay? There is no place I can point you where there's just good men everywhere. That place does not exist. Okay? You have to be able to discern good men when you come across them. You have not had that ability. Based on the experiences you just told me, your discernment needs work. So you need to be able to notice good men when you come across them, right? And if someone does not fit that standard, then you immediately disqualify them.
Okay. So from what I have explained to you, can you help me? Is there anything wrong that I did? Maybe I should, moving forward, something I can work on? Or how to handle such situations, because I don't know.
Sure. Once someone talks about open relationships, you should leave. You're not a good fit. Once somebody loses their temper to the point where they scare you, you should leave. That's a good fit. What you also should do is schedule a 1 hour coaching call. 1 hour coaching calls for you, everyone in the chat. Schedule that call. We'll talk about your issue. Give you an action plan. And you also get 2 weeks of DM support. The way you schedule that is this button right here, this icon, you hit that at the bottom of the screen.
Icon. Okay.
Shoot me a message. I'll ask you about your situation. If I can help, I'll send you a link to where you can book your call. But yes, you just need to discern men. So first you need to understand what kind of man you're looking for and then judge the men who you date through that filter.
Okay. All right. Okay, this is very helpful. Thank you very much. I didn't know you're gonna put me up. It's so silly. I'm asking these questions. It's so embarrassing.
I get it. But you'll do well, love. Just don't throw away your values for anyone. Okay, keep those close to your chest, and you only entertain people who are congruent with them. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
No problem, dear.
Thank you.
Take care. All right. Hello. Mariah, are you there? What's up, Izzy?
Yo, Connect. Hello.
Hi.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good.
Okay. So, I guess my first thing is my name's Mariah. I'm from Detroit. My question is, where do you think women make the most mistakes with dating versus committing, along with how to detach from their past experience and being present in a new dating experience, if you get what I mean?
Sure. Ask the first one again.
Where do you think women make the most mistakes while dating versus committing? For me, I believe a lot of women, or I would say a lot of women have a natural loyalty to a person that they're dating, in a sense, versus actually dating.
Okay.
You know? So my question is, where do you think women make that mistake while dating versus trying to commit?
That's a good question. I mean, there's a lot of mistakes. We can run through them. There's a whole bunch of mistakes. So what the last caller was just like, that was a selection problem, right? It's like you're dating in a pool of people who don't match your value system. So that's off, right? That's one mistake a lot of women make. Another mistake is they don't look at actions. They call men manipulative when really they're the ones manipulating themselves. So what I mean by that is they'll have something they want to be true, and then the man will speak to that desire. And then even if there's no evidence to suggest his words are true, they'll believe it because they want to believe it. And then when it turns out not to be true, they blame him. Really, the blame should be them because it was obvious to any onlookers that that situation was not going to work out, right? What else?
So would you say maybe holding unrealistic expectations for the person that they're dating based on their own perspective
I won't say
of what they should be?
I don't even think the expectations are unrealistic. It's just more so that they aren't looking for proof.
Oh, okay.
Not looking for proof. They're thinking just the words. Oh, he said it, therefore. And it happens. We're talking women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, still making the same mistake.
Yeah.
And they just never learn from the mistakes. So that's another one. This applies both to men and women, is they learn the wrong lessons from bad situations, right? So they'll date the type of men who cheat, and then after they get cheated on a number of times, they think that all men cheat. No, you keep choosing cheaters, right? That's another one, right? What else? Let's do some more subtle ones. So a subtle one is after they've been hurt a lot, they will lead in with a more interview like type energy, right? So
Right.
when they go on a date, they'll start assessing them or grilling the man, right? Not understanding that both men and women primarily make relational decisions based off of how the other person makes them feel. You ever heard that statement like people remember how you make them feel, they forget what you say?
Yeah, that's an
So
important statement.
you get on a date and you start grilling someone, they not feeling good. This ain't fun no more, right?
Right.
So you're actively pushing them away by grilling them, right? First date, we're vibing. That's a vibe date, right? And then over time you start asking more of like compatibility focused questions, you know? So there's a ton of mistakes that women and men both make. I'm primarily a men's coach, but women primarily come on these lives, so I help both. But
I think that's good to, well, I'm a woman, and so I'm
right.
I'm I'm under 30.
Okay.
I'm
Good.
close to 30. I'm under 30.
Okay.
But I guess my question is just because I'm getting to that age where I am dating more established men, and I'm also dating more um, men who are providers, and they actually want me to be in a lifestyle where I'm pursuing my goals, or
Right.
they're investing. And so I guess my question is detaching or making those mistakes. I think that was a good point to make.
Well, but the question, I get why you asked the question, but the better question for you to ask is, as a business owner, right? When I'm solving a problem,
Yeah.
I don't want general business advice. That distracts me. I want advice specifically to the problem that I'm facing.
Okay.
There's too many potential problems in business for me to just hear generic advice. I need you to specifically specify where I'm bottlenecked, where I'm gapped, and then fill that for me, right? So for you, what are you currently facing? What problem are you currently facing in your romantic life? And let me address that concern.
So I spent a couple years just taking care of myself and making lifestyle changes in regards to my health, wealth, and just like my finances or just my body weight and gym and things like that. So now I'm at a point where I've detached into like being independent,
Okay.
and I don't want to inaccurately assess somebody based on because I haven't dated like consistently in a very long time. So I guess detaching from my past experiences, because from going from like 23 years old and now I'm close to 30, I've had a shift in the men that I date. And
Okay.
that's just from growing on my own. So I guess my question is how do you detach from those experiences from a young adult to an actual adult?
So what
And
actual
making that
what problem?
maybe
How is this manifesting as a problem in your current like
I
romantic
think I
connection?
just have issues like being in a soft space to allow a man to do that for me because I spent so long
Spend so
being
much time
independent.
being
Yeah,
independent, so
and solitude in a sense. Yeah,
now you struggle with like asking for help or receiving help.
that and
Uh-huh.
also just being open to like letting a man be a man for
Okay.
me.
So where does the resistance come from? Do you feel like that showcases weakness, or do you not want someone to do things for you because you feel like you're going to owe them, or do you feel like they're just going to let you down? So why ask in the first place? Talk me through it.
I think more so not letting them down, but I also don't want anyone to feel like I'm holding them to an expectation of that they have to do those things for me.
Okay.
Because I've done it for myself for so long. I don't want people to, I don't want a man to think I know that a lot of men feel as though they are supposed to be the provider or the foundation for a woman.
Right.
But in my head, where I'm at, it's like, no, I can still take care of myself. And you are adding to my wealth in a sense. I know that might be, backwards, but I don't know.
Okay. So
Maybe I have issues like receiving from men because I haven't had that, from that young age to now, just constantly receiving. And so now I'm dating men. They want to make sure my gas tank is filled. They want to make sure I'm eating all the time. They want to make sure they're taking
Right.
me out every other day. And it's like, okay, you're asking for a lot from me. Not like a lot. And I want to do these things, but it's just like, you don't have to,
okay. So So when that occurs, when they're doing those things, it makes you uncomfortable.
I don't think it makes me uncomfortable. I think it's kind of like I don't want to overcommit to a person, and this is just going back to like just dating versus committing. I don't want to overcommit to the person and ignore any of their signs because they're doing the things that they're supposed to do. Like I'm at an age where yes, I want to build a family, and I'm an entrepreneur as well. I have a business myself,
Nice.
but it's like how how do
Okay.
you
Real quick.
not
So
miss signs while you're being given these things?
I got you. So when was your last relationship?
I would say maybe my last serious relationship was when I was like 23.
Is that your most significant relationship?
I wouldn't say so. I wasn't in love.
You were in love or you were not in love?
No, I weren't. I wasn't. I
Okay.
wasn't in love.
When were you in love?
I can't say that the love that I know now that is what love is was not like a love as a young adult.
Don't
If you
tell
get what I mean.
don't tell me like through the reflection, but it's like what talk from the perspective of you at that age, not you now.
Mm, I mean, I feel like I like them a lot, but I
Okay.
don't know if I've ever had an experience where I was really in love. I was
Okay.
just getting out of college and stuff. So
What
I've
was
never been like that person, I
what was
guess.
what was your most significant relationship? Because you asked the question about like detach from past experiences. What are you trying to detach from?
I guess maybe not like shunning guys away. And I would say like just because like I've been in a place where okay, I haven't dealt with a lot of men. I've definitely dealt with men at a younger age. And let's say, okay, I'll just tell you in college I'll be a little bit explicit.
Okay.
I was intimate with a guy in college, right? And I
Okay.
was like, okay, but he ended up not being my person.
Okay.
He ended up not being my person. And so I guess now I'm kind of like sensitive to going back into a state where I'm dating somebody and they're doing everything for me. And I'm asking, like, and I'm wanting to commit, but I don't because what if this is not my person?
Right.
And so maybe I'm afraid of commitment in a sense due
You're
to that.
you're afraid
But
of
yeah,
you're afraid of pain.
and maybe,
You're afraid
maybe.
of pain. You're afraid of being wrong. Not just wrong, but you're afraid of
Possibly.
opening yourself up to the person and being wrong, which leads to pain.
Okay, that could be, I can agree.
Right. So that person in college, was he doing stuff for you?
I'm sorry.
That
I
person in
didn't.
college, was he doing things for you?
Yeah, we were like best friends. Maybe that was the time I was in love. Like he was like, we were really close.
Right.
And we just end up not being in relationships.
Okay,
So,
so he was doing things for you. Y'all had a good friendship. You liked him. You really liked him. You ended up sleeping with him. It doesn't sound like you were someone who was sleeping around. So
no.
sounds like sleeping with someone was a significant act for you, right? It was, and if you do that rarely, then it's like you really opening yourself up to somebody. So it's a real
Yeah.
intimate act, right? If you're not desensitized to it,
No,
and
I think
then
it's like it's an act of love. I think
right,
intimacy is an act of love.
right. So then what happened after that?
I mean, we were still friends. We just decided that like I didn't care for the life that he was living, like
Okay,
or the life that he wanted to live, just in regards to like hanging around or like I don't know, just out late and things like that. So it just and I knew I was an entrepreneur. He was an entrepreneur, and we were very close friends. We just kind of crossed the line. So
okay, okay. So that experience let you down because you had high hopes for it.
yeah, and I think I should stop putting expectations on people when it
Right,
comes to that. So
right. Okay. So what you're doing is you're at like you're stage two woman, as I call it. There's four stages. So stage
okay,
one is a woman who is she isn't really thoughtful about her romantic decisions. She's very reflexive, right? She reacts, she doesn't respond. So if we talk about attachment style, she very cleanly maps onto anxious attachment, or very cleanly maps onto avoidant attachment, or very cleanly maps onto fearful avoidant attachment. She doesn't second guess her romantic decisions. She just kind of goes with the flow, right? She's not thinking, okay? But then she gets hurt. Pain has entered the chat. And pain makes you reflect, right? Pain makes you introspect. So after she goes through that painful experience, she reflects on the experience and how she showed up. And then she resolves to not feel that again. So then she puts armor up, right? She adapts to the situation. She makes an adaptive change that prevents the pain. That's what you have done. You've adapted to that pain that you felt by opening yourself up to your friend like that, right? So now you don't want to let anyone in. And it's kind of colored all throughout what you've said, even in the questions. It's subtly the questions you had were kind of like pregnant with this type of ideation as well, which is
So what if I feel like I'm like, so I do get where you're saying like I'll have this shield on the second
right,
woman or the second stage, right?
right,
And so I'm at a place where I do want to be open,
right.
but I don't want to feel as though I need to commit or so that is involved in the
You
second
don't
question.
you don't want
How
to
to
be you don't
how
want
to
to you don't want to be vulnerable
maybe
because no,
yes.
100%, because everything that you've said is trying to avoid vulnerability, right? Because you feel like women overcommit, and you're saying you should date. What you mean is like experience multiple people, right? That's just a strategy you use to not get close to any particular person, right? It's a fear of vulnerability, which is a fear of pain, right? I'm sure you created an intellectual like defense mechanism to protect that idea, but really underneath it, I promise you, is a fear of vulnerability, which is just a fear of you being hurt again. It's
I
just
think it's just like I don't want to I guess it is a fear of vulnerability. I don't want to like open myself up or open my heart up to someone and it
right.
just doesn't work out the way like I'm
But
hoping
that's
that it works.
but that's but that's part of the game though. You can't
Is
you
it?
can't find love without opening yourself up to the possibility of being hurt. You can't. You can't separate it. You can't. You have to open yourself up to being hurt in order to experience connection. That's
So
it.
do you think a good tactic for me or a good advice for me, if you don't mind me asking, would kind of just to take things slow versus jumping
Yeah,
in?
but you can take things slow, but not slower than they need to be, because slowness can also be a defense mechanism.
You think so? Okay, so what
Absolutely.
do you mean by slower than what it needs to be?
So
Because I guess I don't understand that.
some people will just the time never arrives.
Mm,
They'll just anytime someone tries to like progress things, they'll be like, well, let's take it slower. I feel like we're moving too fast, right? It's another defense mechanism. So yeah, that don't
okay,
mean rush into something. No, take it in a reasonable pace, but
right.
you have to first understand and have awareness over what you are actually protecting, right? You're protecting yourself from the pain, from being vulnerable, which leads to the pain, right? And you have to acknowledge that that is not serving you. It's not if you want a relationship, not if you want commitment. It's not serving you, right? You have to
That's
be okay with the possibility of being hurt while also understanding that that pain isn't going to take you out because it didn't take you out before. You
right.
already experienced it, right? It's not fun, but you
No.
build capacity, right? You build capacity when you go through those situations. So what you have to do, the game is like being able to withstand those type of hits without closing yourself off. Because
Okay.
being hurt again isn't nothing will compare to that first one. Because that's when you're like super naive and you can't even conceptualize the pain, right? But now you have a frame of reference. You know what that feels like, right? But what
Right.
people do is they overcorrect and they close themselves off. You got to really intentionally keep your heart open while being more discerning. That's what you really want to do. You've replaced discernment with being closed off. They both
Mm,
serve the same function. It's just one actually is a pathway to you getting what you want, and the other one prohibits it,
I'm gonna write that down because
right?
that's a good word to know. Don't replace discernment with being closed off.
Right, right. So you want to be more discerning of who you deal with, not completely close yourself off from any kind of connection. Especially now while you're 20, because you don't want this to persist into your 30s and 40s, because then it gets spooky.
No, I definitely
It
am
gets
looking to. Well,
spooky.
I'm praying for a family
There we
within
go.
my successful years of life, and so that's why I'm asking these questions now. I do believe that's really good
Yeah,
advice.
this is the core of it, love. It's just yes, you get experience. One of the gifts of pain, right, is of taking any kind of L is you learn. Like to
Mm-hmm.
cultivate wisdom means you have to go through trials, right? That's how wisdom is obtained, or a main way that wisdom is obtained is you're going through trials, right? So it's only fruitless if you don't learn the lesson from it. So
Right.
with your friend, you reflect on that. Okay, how can this serve me? How can this experience serve? What can I learn from this? How can I apply this to future situations? And even as you actively date, you learn from those little micro experiences, right? And you improve your discernment. Now you're never going to be 100%, You're never going to know with 100% certainty, right? But you will know enough to where you can make a good bet. You want to know enough to where you make a good bet. And sometimes even a good bet doesn't work out, right? But you just keep increasing your discernment capacity until you eventually make that connection that actually can stand the test of time, right? And when you're in it, you allow yourself to receive, because that is the feminine position, right? Like you have to be able to receive. You have to be able, not in like a city girl way, right?
No.
But you know, if a man wants to do things, and it's not love bombing, this is where discernment comes in.
Yeah.
There was a woman in my earlier, I go live twice a day at noon and Eastern time and 9 p.m. Eastern time. There was a woman in my earlier live who was like, God was love bombing her, right? So it's like some women, their ego is so big that they think love bombing is what they deserve. So they're like, that's why they keep falling for it. Because they're like, why wouldn't you want to do all this for me? And it's like, oh, well, he don't know you. So his investment should increase as he gets to know you, because now you become more and more worthy of the investment. He shouldn't come out the gate with that and try to do all these things with you just because you're pretty. Because a discerning eye would say, well, you probably do this with every pretty woman, right? I wouldn't trust a guy who like first date, he come out the gate trying to pay for everything and then shower you with gifts and stuff, because all he knows about you so far is you're pretty. Therefore, he must do this with every pretty woman. But the guy who comes out and his level of investment matches the phase y'all are in, and then you see that level of investment increase over time, as it should, because he's getting to know you and seeing your uniqueness, how special you are. Okay, that makes sense. That's where discernment comes in.
So what do you think is like the best way for a woman to, just going back into that feminine stage of receiving, what do you think is the best way to, you just saying like just use your discernment to see where you are, or basically just see where you are in the stage of the relationship and go from there. And receive at that point, because I've definitely been love bombed before. It's crazy.
Right. And you should like put your defenses up, because it really doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. You have to get past your own ego, which is hard for people sometimes. It depends on how much self-awareness they have. But it's like, if this don't make sense, why is this person doing this, right? Okay, if we've been on like 4 dates, okay, the person knows you to a degree. He knows you enough to know he likes you.
Right.
Okay, if investment increases around then, it makes sense. First date, second date, suspicious. Suspicious. I love you on the third date, suspicious. You don't know me on the third date. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So these are all like ask yourself, would you do it? That's a good heuristic. Would I do this? If I was in his shoes, would I be doing this right now? Not to me, but to like another woman, right?
Yeah.
So you can take yourself out so you don't hit the ego, right? So it's like, if you wouldn't, the answer to that question is no, then it's probably love bombing.
But do you think women should even be in a place like, I don't know, because they say women shouldn't give men things, and I hear all these different advice like podcasts and stuff like that. It's just it's so much information. It's so much advice,
but people are all speaking from their pain. So I think there's a couple of things, right? I think that a good heuristic to use when you're receiving dating and relationship advice is, does this improve my life and make me a better person?
Okay.
You look at the advice here, all the advice is pointing to you making you into a better person. Even as you are making the optimizations required to improve your romantic life, you're actually becoming a better person in the process. You healing this wound, right, helps you in your life in general, with people in general, right? What we just discussed about you being like guarded in that way. Okay?
Yeah.
A lot of the advice is predicated on playing defense. A lot of the advice aligns with what you were already doing, which is stopping yourself from being hurt. So that advice comes from a heart posture of telling women not to invest in men because what if it doesn't work out? And now you're like, I done paid for dates, I done did that, this, that, and the third. It's defensive. You should do things that are a reflection of your character, regardless of whether or not something works out.
It's just me. Correction.
Right?
7.
it should be a reflection of your character. So if you want to pay for a date, if you want to buy something, if that's a reflection of your character, then cool. And if it doesn't work out, you didn't lose anything because you were just simply expressing your character. Now, here's where that bites, and this is the good distinction. If it's performative, performative means you're doing it to get something.
Right.
Right? So when it's performative and then things don't go your way, you feel like you're owed something because the whole reason for you doing it in the first place was to impress the person, to get them entangled in your web. So the heart posture really matters. So I think that you should do things because you genuinely just want to do them and because it's just in your character.
No, I agree. I agree. I do things like if I was to notice one of my guy friends, or if I was to notice a guy friend like didn't have a good day, or they had a long day or something like that, my go-to would be to like, hey, let me make you a self-care kit because I know a lot of guys don't get involved in that thing.
That's
or
nice.
just stuff like that. And it's not performative. It's genuinely
Right.
about like me knowing.
But
or,
you probably
being able to have
give a
emotional
lot.
intelligence.
You probably give a lot and you do not receive. And just in
I think
general.
I receive. I think I just haven't been in a space where like I'm
Do you-
having so many people receive.
Do you
I'm having so many people give.
Okay. So it's more about the volume of people. So would you say that you receive to the same degree that you give?
Yes.
Okay. That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
And gratitude is an important way to think about it because there are like, I think a lot of people don't realize their abundance and how they're receiving because there's times like people will buy me coffee at work or like my friends will take me out. Like for my birthday, I had my sorority sister, she paid for my entire trip and I didn't even ask her to. So
good.
it's like things like that.
Okay.
And so
So that's a good thing because
I
that
do
tells
feel-
me that defense isn't as like formidable as it is for other people. And it's probably
Yeah.
due to you not having that same wound prodded at over and over and over again.
yeah.
Like if you probably went and dated like 2 or 3 more other guys after that first experience and the same thing happened, it probably would be a lot
No, I'm a
deeper.
little cautious.
Okay.
When it comes to that matter.
Okay. So yeah, you just have to a lot of life wisdom in life is just existing within the tension. And it's like you went from one extreme to the other, but you really want to stay in the middle.
Yeah.
Right? So all I'm doing in this conversation is course correcting you back to the middle of that spectrum. So you can exist in that tension and actually get the result that you're looking for. But you're not far off.
Exists within intention. Okay. I like your words. That's cool.
I appreciate you.
Okay, well, that was my question. I appreciate you putting me
problem.
up here and
Absolutely. Keep
giving
me
me some
posted.
advice.
Keep me posted on how it goes, all right?
I will. Thank you.
All right, dude. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, people. If you want your 1-hour coaching call, remember, 1-hour coaching call. You see this icon here, hit it at the bottom of the screen, shoot me a message. I'll ask you about your situation, and if I can help, I will send you a link where you can book your 1-hour coaching call. It comes with 2 weeks of DM support where you can ask me questions via DMs for 2 weeks. Okay, I got people sending me screenshots of text messages, all types of stuff. So if you want that, shoot me a message. I will be in touch. That was a good conversation. I think that was helpful. What do y'all
Hey, what's
think?
up?
What's going on, man?
I think how you doing, man?
Good. What can I do for you?
I think we talked a while back actually about a situation.
Word.
Probably you don't remember, but your boy went haywire, and then I did everything that I shouldn't have done. Basically, spam text, spam call, that stuff. Yeah. And then I remember you kind of telling me, this is, I got just deep fried, beyond cooked. And just the best thing is to just leave it,
Uh-huh.
And so I left it. Then she she ghosted me, but we didn't talk for around 2 months. Then she texted me a week ago, and then just saying sorry. Just saying it was wrong for her to kind of go ghost, because cowardly, because of the feelings I have for each other. And I saw that text, and I was kind of doing a little bit good for myself, a little bit. I still have feelings for her, but we still follow each other everywhere, stuff like that. But I would meet her stuff. I didn't want to see her stuff, and anytime she would interact with my stories or whatever, it just got me upset. But just seeing the text just kind of made me understand that this isn't really what I need. I spent the whole time thinking, damn, she doesn't care. She'd never text me again. And when she did, it was kind of It didn't change anything because what I wanted, at least at the time, or even still now, I know that I still have feelings for her. It's not that, and things can never be that, and it's just kind of annoying. And I guess I never asked her that. I never asked her why it took her. I asked her why it took her so long. And she was just kind of like, she just didn't have anything to say, and she was kind of scared and nervous, and it's just annoying that like in all that 2 months progress, someone could just come and just kind of ruin it back down again. And now I'm not starting from like the beginning, but it's like I texted something again. I still have feelings for her, blah blah, and I still missed her. But then that again is undelivered. I mean, I guess she doesn't seem like she even wants to respond to it. And I understand, but it's just kind of frustrating that I'm being vulnerable, and I guess I shouldn't be. So I'm just back to square one, I think. And I'm just kind of like annoyed about the situation. I won't lie, like I was very close to just being so bitter, and well, I think I got bitter for like a while, and just being so like not angry, but like just being so toxic for no reason, just in general, like just like spewing negative energy about like, oh, girls do this, blah blah blah, and it's just like I know it's not true, but
Right.
it feels like that's the only way to cope about the situation. So
Right.
I guess I was asking like. I know me and her can never work out, even though I wanted to, or at this point, it's just kind of like a wish, it's a dream at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do I not feel bitter about this?
How do you not feel bitter about this? Okay.
Yeah.
How long were y'all together?
We never dated, it was just like a 5 months talking stage.
5 months talk. How old are you two?
21, she's 22.
Makes sense. All right. How did y'all meet?
Mutuals Instagram.
Mutual Instagram. All right. What went so wrong with this connection?
We got too close to the point where I guess she realized that we were going to end up dating, and she didn't want that,
Mm-hmm.
and then she just felt like she had to pull away, and I didn't know how to go about that, so I kept on pushing, and like I thought doing more would help, but it didn't. So
And you called in about the situation before?
yeah, I did.
And what did I tell you?
You kind of just you did kind of say that like I already told you about all the spam texting. You said I should just leave it. I should just left it, and there's nothing I can do. I should just leave it alone, and I did. Then she just came back to apologize and all that stuff, but
Okay.
it's just kind of like I left it and I got better. And it's kind of like she came back. Now I'm leaving it again. It just feels like I got kind of trolled. Like she just came back to apologize at the expense of like my own healing, or she apologized for her sake, which I get. Like it makes sense, but it's like I don't know. I just feel a little bit better.
Right. How fresh is this?
Ooh, it's recent. We talked from October to around January. Then February, March is iffy. That's when everything started like happening, like being weird. Then March, like early March, late Feb is when she just ghosted me.
Okay.
And she texted me like a week ago, so it was like a month, almost 2 months of us just not talking.
But she texted you a week ago
Yeah, like last week Monday.
to apologize?
Yeah.
Okay. So it resurfaced. All right. So bitterness is essentially anger, and anger is a secondary emotion. What's underneath it is typically grief. So you got to just grieve. Right? You got to be sad about the connection. You don't have to tell stories about what happened, why it happened, and who she is, and about women. You don't have to do any of that. You can just admit one simple truth, which is the experience hurt. That's it. You don't have to justify that. You don't have to masculinize that. Just it hurt, right? And then feel whatever pain you associate with that. And then when that pain surfaces, you just feel that, right?
Yeah.
Don't press it. Don't push it down. Don't suppress it. Don't try to distract yourself from it. Feel it, right? That's how you process emotions, by the way. This is actually going to help you a lot for the rest of your life if you listen. Because you're 21, so a lot of 21-year-olds don't have this type of emotional intelligence. But to process an emotion is not to think about it. It is to feel it. So you need to feel it. That's how you release it.
How do I? Yeah.
You release it by feeling
When you say
it.
feel it, like, do you mean like when I get upset, just let it happen?
Right. So think of emotions as physical sensations in your body. So when you feel an emotion, be like, where do I feel this in my body? Like it's a physical sensation. So sometimes anger will be like hot in your chest. Or like if you are getting sad, maybe a loved one passed, or you get really hurt, your throat would tighten a little bit, right?
Yeah.
The physical sensation is the emotion. So then you just feel it. So you try to feel wherever it is in your body, and you just sit in that for a little while, and you'll experience that when you do that, you it'll grow like a wave, but it will also descend like a wave. And when you feel that descent, that means that you did one cycle of processing. So you just released some of that emotional energy by fully processing and integrating it. You're not doing that right now, right? You're storytelling. You're going into your mind and then creating a narrative around the situation. That's not necessary. You can just feel it. And if you make it your reflexive response to just feel it when it comes up, eventually you'll be over this. As long as you're doing the other work, which is not talking to her, not following her, not looking at her stories, all that kind of stuff. Block her if you need to, right? If her coming back and apologizing makes you revisit this negative situation, then just block her via text as well, right? So she can't reach you, so you can fully heal from the situation and fully move on.
Yeah, I guess this is the first, not the first time, but like, you know, like I guess all guys have had crushes and it didn't work out. But this first time, like it kind of worked out, but like the end goal, like you just didn't. It just kind of got cut off abruptly, and it just gets annoying because it feels like that's just what's gonna happen from now on. Like, and I guess that's dating. You know, you date, it doesn't work out, you move on. Like you just gotta keep going until you find the person or whatever, until you find it when it works out. But it just feels like kind of. I do think I'm emotional for guys, and it kind of sucks that I'm a little bit emotional. But that's just the way I am. I like being that way, but I guess the trade-off is I feel things deeply.
Yeah,
But just
emotions actually, it's an asset, not a liability. When you are emotional to the degree to where you feel the full spectrum of emotions as a man, it's attractive to women because it means you're emotionally alive. I do this on this live, right? Sometimes on this live, I'll feel rage. I get very irritated, and I allow myself to get irritated. Sometimes I get mean to people on this shit, right? It's attractive though, because it's like, oh, he's emotionally alive. Because I don't stay there. I return back to baseline, right? Fast. I'll have a spike, and I'll return back to baseline, right? And I'm like, oh, right? They like that, okay? So that's not a bad thing. What you are is anxiously attached. It's a little bit further than that. So yeah, anxiously attached people are emotional. That's good, but you're letting the emotion control you.
Yep.
That's where like the spam test and all that kind of stuff came from. Here's a practical Band-Aid solution. I can't help you fully with your anxious attachment because this is just a live, right? I give just enough advice to help people, but if they want deeper advice, they have to get a coaching call, right? But here's a Band-Aid solution for your anxious attachment. Whenever you feel that anxiety, moving forward, look at it like you are being possessed. Whatever that feeling is telling you to do, it is trying to sabotage whatever connection you're in. Okay?
Yep.
So do not take any action or make any attempts to communicate why you feel that way. Only take any action and communicate when you no longer feel that way. Okay? So from this day forward, look at that as a sign to do nothing. Nada. Okay? Go distract yourself. Go work out. Go take a walk. Take a nap, go call a friend. Don't do anything when you feel that way. Just know, whenever you feel that way, taking the action from that place, you are being possessed, and it's going to ruin whatever connection you have. Okay? That ain't going to fully heal it, but that is a Band-Aid solution that can kind of like keep you from blowing connections up. Now, when you have a bit more emotional control and emotional restraint, that's when you're going to be more attractive. They call that the wild man, the man who's very emotionally alive. He feels the full spectrum of emotions. He expresses them, right? He'll get mad with his girl also, but it's like he don't stay there. He returns back to baseline, right? It's the opposite of like being very stoic, like, no, I feel nothing. People like people who are emotionally alive and passionate.
Yeah.
That whole artist archetype is very attractive to women. They are all predicated on like the emotional spectrum, the emotionality of that individual, right? It's very expressive. Okay, so this will be an asset when you put this version of yourself in its place, and you no longer let it control you, and you exhibit dominion over it. It becomes an asset. Right now, it's a liability. So that's where the work is.
Do you think I'm trying to go for the first time in a while? I haven't been talking to anyone just intentionally. Just wondering, is that like, do you say that's a good thing as a man? Do you think that's a good thing at this age for me to just not like talk to any girls right now. I haven't tried, but kind of is that like
Sure,
to
sure.
focus on myself as well? But like, it's
Yeah. I feel like it really depends on the heart posture and the intent, right? So it's like, okay,
yeah,
what will be is are we talking to other women due to distraction? Okay, we don't do it. Are we talking to other women due to validation? Okay, don't do it. Are we talking to other women in order to feel better about ourselves, which implies that you can't make yourself feel better about yourself? You need an external source to do it. Okay, don't do it. But if you're talking to women because you genuinely just like talking to women, then that's fine. So you have to have the self awareness to know exactly why you're doing what you're doing.
yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Thank you.
No problem, big
Thank you
dog.
so much.
You take care of yourself, all right, man?
You too.
All right. Good calls today, man. Good calls. We got Mary trying to come up. Mary, what's
Hello.
going on?
Okay, so I got a question and totally might be overthinking it, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So just a little update. Me and my mans broke up, so it's not my mans anymore.
Uh-oh.
But we were breaking up around the time his ex was coming into town to visit. So, I was just asking, because she was kind of like an issue in the very beginning of the relationship, like in October.
Right.
So I was just, kind of asking him, like, are you going to see Katie when she comes into town this weekend? And then he was just like, no, like, I just want to be with you. Because, like, we want to be with each other. It's just, I don't think we're compatible at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so then he was like, I only want to be with you. I have no interest in talking to anyone else. But then he said, especially Katie, after everything she put me through. And to me, I just wonder if that kind of, like, him having to add that little extra piece on there is like an indication that he's not really fully over her. Because, like, why do you have to add that frustration,
It's possible. How long ago was their relationship? How long ago did it end?
I think they broke up September last year.
How long were they together?
5 or 6 months.
5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
What did she put him through?
See, I don't know. We've never really delved deep into it, but, and it's all just what he says. Although, like, Katie was friends with his group of friends, and so from his friends, I've heard some, like, not great things about her, but he just said that she was really toxic, doesn't value relationships. He kind of thinks she cheated on him. But, I don't obviously really know what happened, and what he did in the relationship. But, yeah, I just don't know how I sat with that.
How long were you two together?
From like October until obviously just about now.
So he got with you.
Not like boyfriend and girlfriend the whole time.
Okay, so he broke up with her in September and they got with you in October?
Yeah, so it was pretty quick, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fast. That's pretty
I know.
fast. Especially off of someone getting cheated on. That's very fast. So he went from relationship to relationship. So that's already not a good sign. While he was with you, was he complaining about her? Or was this like the...
No, he actually really didn't. Like, there was one time when we talked about our exes, like a month into the, like, dating and stuff, and he did complain about her in that sense of just, like, saying why it didn't work out. But then no, like, she never got brought up unless, like, sometimes, because, I'm really anxious, so sometimes I would just, like, ask questions about her randomly every once, like, not often, but once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just kind of the same stuff, like, I don't want anything to do with her. But I just feel like not long drawn on responses, but dramatic short responses.
What do you mean?
That just make me feel like, oh my God, I feel like you have so much hurt and pain from this. Like, are you over this at all?
What do you mean dramatic short responses? Like what?
Well, no, that just exactly what I said. Like when he was like, especially Katie after.
Oh,
everything
just
she
this
put me
one?
through.
Okay. No, remember, you want to look for a pattern. You're
Okay.
being hyper vigilant. You looked at a one-off situation. So he very likely told you that as a way to talk you off the cliff. To add emphasis to why you definitely shouldn't be worried about this person.
Okay, and that's what I'm having a hard time, like, differentiating about, because, like, that's the thing. Like I said, he didn't talk about her and vent about her, but like I said, if I would ask questions about her from time to time, he would just be like, no, I definitely don't want anything to do with her. So that's what I mean. It was like a short response, but I just feel like it's like a heavy response,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but again, that could be just to appease your anxiety, regulate you. It was like,
Okay.
maybe if she knows I hate her, then she won't freak out. So I
Okay.
definitely
Yeah, all
have
right. Because
noted.
it just, obviously it's been weighing on me about just like, oh my God, is he not over? Yeah. And so would you say that one's just kind of a hard one to say that it completely means, it doesn't necessarily mean he's not
Well,
over
you're not.
her?
You can't be a fortune teller. I talk in probabilities. Okay, so I
Yeah.
can't. Nothing I say is like, oh, 100% certainty. But unless I have
Yeah.
enough data. But no, this doesn't sound like he was secretly like pining or had a deep hatred for her, which shows that he still was emotionally enmeshed within that relationship. Right, 5 to 6 months is nothing from a relationship perspective, by the way.
Right.
But
And they were long distance, so they didn't see each other a
yeah, so
lot.
that's not that she probably didn't imprint on him at all. But you didn't do yourself any favors by like asking about her all the time.
I know. And I think that's what caused so much anxiety with me is that I knew I didn't know right away, but like a few weeks into dating, when I already was like head over heels for him, that's when I found out how shortly after they broke up. And I knew that was a red flag to an extent, but I was already so into him. And so I think
Mm.
that's what caused me to be a little anxious about it throughout the relationship and kind of maybe like, again, I didn't ask like every week or anything, but I still probably asked a bit more than I should, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, and along with so many other things I was anxious about, but that's just something I have to work on.
All right, and you are
But
working on
anyway.
it. Just for the chat, Mary is
See
working on
what?
it. I said, and you are working on it. You are
I
working on
am.
it. So like, keep doing the work. You'll be good. I told you, fearful avoidance. They tend to be some of the best after they heal. So keep walking that path. But yeah, I mean, the real red flag is how quickly he moved on, and it's a red flag because it sounds like he just needed to be with somebody. So when people are going
Yeah.
fast like that, you never know if they are truly choosing you or if they just need somebody and you happen to be the right place, right time.
I know, and I like to think, and maybe I'm just like grasping at straws. I like to think he was actively choosing me because I did put him through like 6 or 7 months of hell with all of my paranoia and stuff, and he stood by it and tried to be as patient as he could.
Right.
But then, it still lingers in my head. Was I just like a rebounder or a distraction? I don't know.
Right. Right. It's possible. Okay, I can't say it's not possible, right? Because it's like if somebody needs somebody, they also would put up with 6 or 7 months of hell, right? They don't have the next person yet. So, you know, that's that's how it goes. So, yeah, keep doing the work. I would stop fixating on this situation unless there's actual lesson to extract from it. I wouldn't focus on the situation and be like, did I miss something? You didn't miss anything.
Okay.
Promise you, as a fearful avoider, you didn't miss anything. All right.
Okay.
So at this point, you're just like concocting like fantasies. You know,
Yeah.
you're screenwriting at this point. So it's like this isn't helpful anymore. It's best to now just focus on grieving the connection if you have any more grief to work through, and then positioning yourself to continue enjoying your life until the next suitor comes aboard.
For sure. All right. Well, thank you.
All right, Mary, you take care, love.
Okay. Bye.
All right, all right. Mary been around for a minute. Mary, I think we can consider Mary a day one. We gotta make sure my day ones are good. Hello? Hello? All right. Let's keep it moving. Let me see. I don't like the people in the queue. Again, if you have a question pertaining to dating and relationships, you can request up. I will solve your issue. You can also drop your question in the chat. I can answer it there. Just be advised that callers get first priority, okay? Meaning, if somebody calls while I'm answering your question in the chat, I will immediately direct my attention to the caller. Okay? You understand? We had some good calls today, though. We had some good calls today. Okay. Hopefully y'all gotten some value so far. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. What can I do for you?
Yeah. Well, first, just wanted to say I'm really enjoying your show. I'm new to TikTok, so
Mhm.
been coming across your show this week, and I was like, I really like what you have to say.
Appreciate you.
So I'm gonna try not to get too deep into things, but so I'm 26.
Okay.
I'm pretty inexperienced when it comes to dating and relationships. So I don't know, I guess I kind of just avoided it, and in a lot of ways, like I was pursuing my career and doing all these things, and now I'm like, oh, I really like want love. I'd love to have a family, like the traditional life. I'm also kind of rebuilding a lot of areas of my life, so I'm trying to figure out how, I don't know, like where to even begin. Like I feel like I am actually, a couple callers ago kind of spoke to that gap of like not dating for several years and then being more mature and wanting to be around like more mature and established people, but like not having gone through almost some of those stages, right? Of like learning and maturing in relationship. Does that make sense? So it's like, I'm struggling to begin, you know, like I don't even know like where to start with inviting like dating into my life. And I do this a same thing, I think, of avoiding getting hurt, right? So I keep a lot of people at arm's length. I kind of like this, like I've always kept this like, I don't know, allure and almost like performative type dating instead of like true vulnerability and intimacy, you know?
Right. So you say you're 26, right? How long ago was your last relationship?
I mean, honestly, I haven't really been in a relationship.
Okay. What was
I had a long distance relationship, and it was it's kind of hard to explain, but it was very deep. We both were going through things together. So we had like a lot of experiences together, but it was just long distance. So that's just a different type of relationship. And like we talked about, like, I don't know, there was so much depth to that connection, like mentally, physically, emotionally. And like, I think I know we both saw each other as like forever, but I just like, I don't know, a lot of things happened in my life and I really like pushed it away.
Okay. So how long was that long distance relationship?
Yeah, I'm ashamed to even say out loud how, so, and I don't know, it's hard to explain without getting into kind of my life, but long story short, a lot of my life has been virtual land since COVID, because I had a like remote career. I've been like traveling a ton. So I think like that's reflected in like friendships as well as dating relationships, if not like, anyway, so it carried on and off for like 4 years.
On and off for 4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how did it end?
Pretty poorly. Yeah, I don't know, honestly, and I was dealing with a lot with work, and I don't know how else to say. I kind of had a nervous breakdown. I was in this like really demanding career, and like I hadn't seen him, right? So it wasn't this. I don't know. It was hard to not take it seriously, but like I don't know. I didn't put in the effort. Like he was trying to figure out things and like make it work, and like I kind of was like playing games in a sense because I didn't trust it after all that time.
Why didn't you trust it after all that time?
I don't know. In hindsight, and I've thought about it so much since, I'm like, I like kick myself because I should have, like if there was anybody I'm gonna like let down the wall and like take a leap with, it was this man. And I mean, there's a lot of factors like that I should have done more and been better. Like I should have showed up for him in a lot of ways. Like I don't know if I want to share this. But yeah, I should have been better. Like he didn't really make me like question at things, and I didn't trust it. So
Okay. So what
learning
made
experience for sure.
what made you not trust it? What was going on in your head when you decided to end it? What were you telling yourself?
It's things that I needed to. I wasn't doing the work for like years, and I was, like I said, like not just relationally, but living very performatively, and kind of superficially, which is not really who I am. And I don't know. I think like I was still just not feeling like it was like this desire to be perfect and like have this like this idea of a relationship instead of like really like being like, this is who I am, good and bad. You can decide if, you know what I mean, if you want to be with me. And I didn't want to let that happen. Like I was afraid.
Okay, you was afraid you would see the real you if you progressed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is crazy because that's also all that I would love is somebody to like really know me and see me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Was this your most significant romantic connection?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes? Okay. So no kind of relationships, romantic connections before this one?
No, I was very immature with dating, honestly. I had like one boyfriend when I was younger in college. But it wasn't like, I don't know, it was kind of like someone to spend time with. And I wasn't in a mindset to be like, okay, like let's date with intention for the idea of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I come from like a Christian background, so like that intentional dating, like, but I wasn't in that framework at the time. And since then, like, yeah, I mean, I was kind of just not living intentionally. So that reflected in my relationships. Not like, I'm not somebody to like, you know, be frivolous, like, but just.
How did you meet this person?
The one that I was the long distance one.
Huh?
I was visiting a friend where he lives in his state, and I met him at a concert,
Mm-hmm.
and then we did like some traveling back and forth to visit. He, I don't know, and I'm very spiritual, and there was a lot of signs and like patterns that showed me this was my husband, and I ignored them. And so I'm like, there was a lot of grief. I just kind of, it makes no sense why I made the choices I made, but
Gotcha.
I have to just accept it.
Do you tend to have discomfort with vulnerability with people you're close to?
Sometimes. I mean, I think like, no, I don't know. I've always been pretty vulnerable. Like, but I think what's funny is like, I like turn it off when it comes to like men. So males, I guess, I have difficulty being vulnerable with.
Mm-hmm. And is that the moment you meet them or the moment they become significant to you?
I think the latter.
Okay. All right. We're getting closer. It sounds like avoidantly attached.
Yeah.
Did you know that already?
Yeah. I think I don't know. I thought I was kind of both. So
Why
anxious and avoidant.
Why do you think you're both?
I don't know. Well, because anxious attachment, it's like you're needy for attention, right? Kind of. You're like validation, and that's kind of what anxious
Think about
attachment
it in
like.
terms of fear, what you fear. So anxious attached people fear abandonment.
Yeah.
Avoidantly attached people fear losing their independence and enmeshment, like somebody getting too close to them and seeing them for real, right?
Mm-hmm.
A fearful avoidant has both fears firing simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
So which one resonates most?
You said fearful avoidant. I think fearful avoidant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how is that manifesting for you in this connection?
How was it manifesting for me?
Right. What about that connection made you feel anxious?
I think part of it was like I've been used to like, I don't know, I haven't really like had experiences where I've been like burned. Generally, I'm the one avoiding, I think, relationship. Like I've been very lucky and had a lot of like very intentional men pursue me, but this relationship, like, I think there was part of me that was like, I don't know, like, oh, it was like we went on these trips together. Like, were we actually, like, did he actually see something? I don't know what it was, because he also was somebody that just was incredibly safe and like consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know, looking back, I don't know, I think like it's just me and like things that I need to work on, right? Like, not him. It wasn't like that relationship. It was just.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. But the question is, what made you feel like you were fearful avoidant?
You said anxious or avoidant is you're afraid of the enmeshment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fearful aspect, can you explain that again?
It's just fearful avoidance. You just have the fears that an avoidant person has, as well as the fears that the anxious person has. Typically manifests as you feeling those fears simultaneously. You'll notice that fearful avoidance will take a step towards you, then take a step back. They have a lot of internal contradictions, right? They both desire you strongly and then fear you simultaneously. So they want the connection, but then fear the connection simultaneously. And that creates a lot of internal chaos.
Yeah, so I relate to that heavily. Okay. Yeah, so it's like a fear. I'm afraid of being abandoned and it like not working out long term. And then I also am afraid to let somebody too close to me.
Okay. Now, you will be like a real fearful avoidant, right? So what that means is fearful avoidance normally made in childhood. So one of your caregivers was both the source of love and pain.
Mm-hmm.
Does that resonate?
It does.
Okay. So then that created the conditions where your nervous system both wanted connection, but also feared it simultaneously because you associate pain with it, right? Mm-hmm. Very difficult to deal with. Now, one of the plus sides of fearful avoidance is once they heal, they can often become some of the best partners to be with because their superpower is attunement. They tend to read the person who they're with very well, right? They read the person. They know the person's needs. They know when something's off with them. They're very attuned to the people that they're with. But they're very hard to lock down. In fact, many of them, if they do get into relationships, they get in relationships with people who happen to just be around for a long period of time. Because consistently seeing that person, being around that person, makes them feel safer with that person. So they tend to get into relationships with friends or someone who they just were hooking up with, right? Just someone who's been around for some time. But they have very low relational satisfaction because they sabotage like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Big saboteurs.
Yeah. Interesting.
So,
I see that.
Here's the bad news. That was the good news I just gave you, which is once y'all heal, y'all become the best partners to be with. Bad news is, anxious person can heal. They can learn to, not be so anxious. Avoidant person can learn to open up a bit more and be vulnerable. Fearful avoidant is a trauma-based attachment style. Trauma lives in the body It's pre-verbal.
Mhm.
So that means you typically need to go to some trauma-based therapist, or what I typically point people to is EMDR, which is a somatic-based therapy. It's not talk therapy. It gets you to be more in tune with how you feel in your body, right? Your emotional landscape. Rewire that trauma, make it so it's less of an issue in your romantic connections. The EMDR is not going to heal you, it's just going to create the conditions where you can heal.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I would recommend for you if you are like a textbook fearful avoidant, because again, it's the hardest one because it's so confusing for the person who has it, and especially the person who's dealing with it. To see someone text you and then you respond to their text and they run. What the fuck did you text me for?
Yeah.
Why are you running after I responded to your text? Right? It's that you desire it, so you reach out, and then when they meet you, you back up. So it's really trippy to experience. So for you, that's going to be the work that you need to do. Okay? And it ain't going. I want any fearful avoidant who's listening. Okay? People who are lurking, who are watching, and they're like everyone. Any fearful avoidant, if you identify as a fearful avoidant, this shit ain't going nowhere. Okay? That's why I want to shape fearful avoidance sometimes, because they like to avoid, put their head in the sand. It ain't going nowhere. This shit that you have, until you do what I just told her to do, it ain't going nowhere. This is your life. Okay? No romantic connection will work. It will not work. Okay? So until you go and do the shit I'm talking about, get used to life as it is now, because ain't shit about it going to change. All right? All right. So make sure we're on the same page, because sometimes it's like, if I was I would imagine I was fearful avoidant, and I heard me say that, I'll be like, I would end this live and Google EMDR and figure out how to get that. Yeah. Immediately. Because it is a death sentence. It's not, and the death is of the relationship. It will not work romantically with anybody until this shit is entirely too difficult to deal with, and no personal quality is going to deal with it. They're just not. Yeah. It's too much. It's too much. Okay? So get help for this shit. Go ahead.
Let me ask you on that, like, because I'm cognizant of the trauma, right? Like, there's a lot of, like, I hadn't had the consistency. I mean, I grew up in good people, but I'm cognizant of that. But I'm like, that's part of why I'm, like, hesitant to even get into a relationship. Like, how do I bring that forth, like, to a man? Like, that's why I've always wanted to be, like, perfect. Because I'm like, I know I have this trauma. I got to just completely, like, not cover it up, but, like, overcome that and be perfect before I let somebody in.
Oh, you're not about to be perfect, but you do need to have the capacity. You're like trying to be an entrepreneur and you don't have a bank account. Mm-hmm. Let that analogy land. Trying to start a business, you don't have a bank account. That's what you're doing. You don't have the capacity to receive any connection yet. So you have to do the pre-work so that you can create the capacity to receive connection. It's unfair because you didn't cause this. None of you fearful avoidance caused this. I empathize with you, but I want you to use your rational brain and hear me. You ain't going nowhere until you go get the help that you need for it. The type of person who would accept you as is ain't the type of person you want.
Yeah.
It's a lot to deal with, man. It's a lot when it comes to fearful avoidance. It's a lot. Okay? So, and like, there's fearful avoidance that have different capacities, but their relationships are doomed to fail. They're doomed to fail. My ex I was with her for 8 years. She was fearful avoidant. Just she had higher capacity. She leaned avoidant. Every relationship she was followed the same pattern. She was in love with you until she wasn't. It may take years for her to not be that way anymore, like not be in love with you anymore. But it eventually happened every time, and it never clicked to her that this was a pattern. She ran from it and continues. Well, I would imagine continue to do so to this day. You gotta solve the shit. You just got to, because it's not going anywhere. And before you know it, you're gonna blink and be 30, and then 40, and then 50, and you're still doing the same goofy behaviors. You just have to go and get the work that I'm pointing you to. Because not all fearful avoidance know what I just told you. So I just gave you a gift by knowing exactly where to go to fix the shit, right? But until you do that, nope, nothing gonna change. You're just gonna run through people, and you're gonna run through people, and you're gonna damage other people in the process.
Yeah, that's something I'm afraid of too.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like emphasizing this. Don't go out in there and date because you're damaging other people and now the next woman has to now clean up that mess. And now he traumatized to death. Stop hurting other people. Go deal with your shit. You're spreading trauma everywhere. Go deal with your stuff before you get out there. All right?
Okay. Alrighty, I appreciate that.
No problem, love. That's luck to you, okay?
Thanks.
That's not just for fearful avoidance, by the way. Anyone who's hurting and in pain, like, stop spreading that pain around. That ain't cool. That's not cool. It's very selfish and cowardly for you to be like, I'm in pain. I'm going to hurt other people and because I need a distraction. I need a distraction, so I'm going to break somebody else's heart because I need a distraction. And now you don't fuck them up. Just chill out. I'd become more of a spark guy when you're naturally a safe. My man, thank you, Teddy. It was becoming ladies' night. Glad you asked the question, my boy. All right, Teddy, how do you become more of a spark guy when you're naturally a safe guy? The thing is, Teddy, you're not naturally a safe guy. You're being performative. Spark is predicated on, the doorway to spark is courage, right? So I'll give you an example, Teddy. I had a guy who asked me a question one time. He was like, when I deal with women, they all call me a nice guy and then try to friend zone me, right? They all say I'm nice and friendly, but they don't feel that way about me, right? I said, okay, so you're telling me that all these women say you're nice. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, just every time you engage them in a nice way, right? He was like, yeah. I said, okay. And you say nice things to them, right? He was like, yeah. I said, all right. Do you only have nice thoughts? He thought for a second. And he said, no. I said, well, then why are you only expressing the nice ones? If you're not just having nice thoughts, why are you only expressing the nice ones and then not expressing the not so nice ones? You're not naturally a safe guy. You're choosing to be a safe guy. Right? Because you're playing things too safe. To give spark means risk. To offer spark, you must take social risks. You must make moves. You might say things that could probably ruffle some feathers, but you're okay with saying it because it's a genuine expression of who you are. Offering spark is being more authentic, right? All safety guys are mostly performative, or they're running cultural scripts. They've watched too many Disney movies and they think that's how they have to obtain love, and it doesn't work that way, right? So you have to be a bit more authentic. Say the things you want to say, even if it may not be the nice thing, right? If Shorty says something goofy or does something goofy, you can call out the goofiness, right? Not in a mean way, but like in a playful way. Tell guys, want to be a spark guy? Here's the easy way to do it. Easy way to think about it. The more you can model the way that little boys engage little girls on the playground, the more sparky you'll be. Think about that. Little boys on the playground, they haven't hit puberty yet. So they don't want anything from these little girls. They want nothing from them. They don't desire them in that way. So where does that lead? They tease them and they say what they want to say. They freely express themselves with no thought to how it's going to be received. They're not editing themselves. There's no reason to edit because they're not optimizing for any goal. You got to get back in touch with that energy, right? That's that masculine edge. You're going to naturally be more sparky, okay? So there's more that you can do, but that's the dynamic you want to keep, okay? Being playful is sparky energy. Being bold is spark energy. Being smooth is spark energy, right? There was this woman who went to a gym I used to go to it was probably like 2 years ago, last time I went to this gym. And she used to like, we would lock eyes a lot. She would stare at me a lot. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and see what that's about, right? So I talked to her one day and I saw that she was like being real hesitant. I was like, why is she being hesitant? You've been clearly staring at me, right? So I leave it alone because, you know, we ain't pressed around here. And like a week later, I see her like on the treadmill. And this other guy who I was cool with in the gym came and he walked up on her. And then he like increased the speed of her treadmill and made her run. And he just kind of walked away smiling. And she's like laughing, right? That's that little boy and little girl in the playground energy. Did you catch it? That's what a little boy would have did to a little girl in the playground. She's on the treadmill. He walks by and speeds it up, playing a little prank. That's spark, okay? That's spark. Now, what I observed from that situation was, oh, y'all are already fucking. Y'all already dealing with one another. That's why she was being weird, because she already connected with him. She knows I know him, so she's trying to not, you know, fuck her shit up. So that's spark. That dynamic. Try doing things like that. That's going to help you out a lot. Okay? There's more. And if you want more, book your 1-hour coaching call. Comes with 2 weeks of DM support. This icon right here, it's a button at the bottom of the screen. You hit that, shoot me a message. I'll ask you about your situation. And if I can help you, I'll send you a link where you can book your call. Again, it comes with 2 weeks of DM support. So you can message me daily for 2 weeks. Okay? It's very helpful. Everyone in the chat who purchased this call have praised it, how helpful it was. And for those of you who have already booked your call and who have had it, remember, you get the 3-call package after that, 3 30-minute calls. So if you want additional calls, which you certainly need, right? Because I'm not able to do everything within an hour. Go ahead and get that package. Message me if you've already booked your call and you've already had the 1-hour call, and I'll send you a link to set up the 3-hour package, okay? Or the 3-call package, excuse me. I would have got to say he is dating to marry if he is low capacity. Low capacity meaning that he doesn't want it. He will probably say that because he thinks that's what you want to hear. So you give him a vibe or have directly said that you want someone who's intentional. So he wants to sleep with you, so he will pretend to be intentional. How do you address a conflict without coming out too strong that it makes the other defensive? You can read the book Crucial Conversations. That helps a lot. But with some people, Manu, it doesn't matter how sensitively you address conflict. They don't like it. And they certainly don't like being wrong, and they don't accept accountability. So if at any point you point out that they're doing something wrong or dropping the ball, they may put up defenses. Right? So I would need more details as to like what actually is happening, because I don't know if you're dealing with someone who doesn't like accountability, or you're dealing with an avoidantly attached person who doesn't like having tough conversations. Like, I need more data to know what you're working with. Okay? A lot of value in this live tonight. What do y'all think? I feel God in this Chili's. Where's that from? My sister was reading a book like that, and now she's giving unsolicited advice. All right, you hate that. I mean, she's like a newbie to the scene. People start reading books and wanting to teach you about it. Choose the topic of the convo and what behaviors you want to address before you even start it. Love the fearful call, the fearful avoidant. Yeah, we hadn't had a person call in about fearful avoidance in a while. Eva clocked it before I did. And Eva's heuristic was accurate. Her being like, you know, super saying, I don't know a lot was a tell. But her never being in a relationship was what made it difficult to actually read. From Crucial Conversations, yeah. See, Eva reads all the book suggestions. I think her and Hannah read all the book suggestions. Good book suggestions. We can have a book club low key. I know some books. Fearful avoidance, a roller coaster ride that never ends, very hurtful and unpredictable. Okay, so fearful avoidance who lean anxious, yes. Fearful avoidance who lean avoidant, not so much. It's not a roller coaster ride when they lean avoidant. They read almost like an avoidant. Here's like in my relationship, right? half of the relationship, it felt like anxious attachment. The other half, it felt like avoidant attachment, which was trippy. So like she just flipped, right? Now, a fearful avoidant who leans anxious, that's when you're in for the roller coaster ride. That's when you're into it. That's when it gets like, whoa, what is going on? Because think about it, like the ones that lean avoidant, they don't like conflict. So it's not as, they're going to be sneaky, but they don't like conflict. So they'll, but then that resentment builds, right? The ones that lean anxious, they'll have some conflict with you at times. Can you talk more about avoidant? I think the last guy I dated was like that. What specifically about avoidant do you want to know? What specifically? You know what's funny about anxious and avoidant attachment? Anxiously attached people are avoidant with themselves, and then avoidantly attached people are anxious with themselves. Isn't that funny how that works? The patterns or symptoms. Avoidantly attached people, they fear intimacy. They fear closeness. They don't want to get that close to someone because they feel like people just let you down, right? So they don't want to lose their independence or anything like that. So one mistake that people make with these attachment styles is they try to make you think that you can gauge somebody's attachment style when you meet them. So you have like a lot of people where like, oh, he or she ghosted me after the first date because they're avoidant. No, that's not how avoidant attachment works. Avoidant attachment doesn't come online until you become emotionally significant, meaning there's something to be lost. Someone just meets you and they lose you, it's not significant. They didn't lose anything. So oftentimes, if we meet an avoidant, they can be vulnerable because it's not risky to be vulnerable because you're not significant to them yet. It's when you become significant, that's when the avoidant attachment begins. That's when they're activated. It comes online. That's when they're possessed, right? I like to think of attachment as possession. So almost like a different entity takes over. Anxious attachment scares them right away. Right. So when you become emotionally significant, that's when they become avoidant. Typically notice this around like the 2-month, 3-month mark. Typically would notice this a pullback after a significant event. Anxious people can do this too, by the way, for different reasons. Anxious people also pull back, but they pull back because for different reasons, right? They have to, getting close to you is scary. So they may pull back. If you're like an intentional person, you have a significant moment with the anxious person, they may pull back for a bit to regulate themselves before they come back in, right? But they'll come back. The avoidant person, though, might come back, but it's a different energy. It's a different fear at play. So they have what is called deactivating strategies. Deactivating strategies are unconscious, meaning they're not consciously doing it. So what you'll find with avoidantly attached people is when they start to deactivate, one deactivating strategy is they start to fault find. They start to fault find, right? So they will find fault with you to justify leaving the connection. Okay. Another thing they do, I haven't talked about this before, they have what is called the phantom S. The phantom S, meaning when they want to deactivate from you, they start fantasizing about an S. They may even start entertaining that S because they're trying to get away from you. They want to emotionally invest in somebody else or the fantasy of somebody else so that they can fully detach from you. Not all avoidants do that, but it's a known thing with avoidantly attached people. They have a phantom S. They'll start fantasizing about that S. In fact, if you've been left by an avoidant, you might be the phantom S. How about that? Isn't that goofy? Isn't that goofy? Some of y'all have been burnt by avoidance, left by avoidance, and your avoidant is in a new relationship that they are actively deactivating from, and they're using the memory of you to deactivate. Isn't psychology fun? They're using the memory of you, not the real you, by the way. They have a romanticized version of you. They have a romanticized version of you in their head that they're thinking about and fantasizing about. When they and their person are getting intimate, they're thinking about you. And this is just a way for them to create space, emotional distance from the person they're with, and point it somewhere else. They're not deciding to do it. It's all unconscious. So, this is making me sick. Yeah. I never had a reason to bring it up before. I felt it was a little fun Snapple fact for you. Thinking about all caked up. Right. Any avoidant and attached. There's avoidantly attached people here. Any avoidantly attached people have that experience? You telling the truth, always kept an X on standby? Right. What other avoidantly attached people can confirm what I just said? Don't get ghosts now, 'cause I know you're here. Do you think it's a pattern for a fearful avoidance to be manipulative? Yes, that's the anxious side. Anxiously attached people are very manipulative. It's often unconscious, but yeah, they're manipulative. They're manipulative. For sure. For sure. For sure. Okay, Hannah, I didn't know you were here. For sure. I almost did that today. Almost did what today, Karen? Be manipulative or have the Phantom S? Who are they attracted to usually? Who are you talking about? Which one? Avoidance? Oh, you had the Phantom X experience, Karen? Yeah, yeah. Who are the fearful avoidance attracted to? They often find themselves with like anxious people. I would say more so anxious people. Because the avoidant nature, the push-pull, is attractive to the anxious person. It makes the anxious person feel anxiety, and the anxious person, for whatever reason, follows their anxiety. Oh, you're making me feel anxious? I guess I should choose you. Right? That's the anxious person. No more calls, by the way. If you're trying to come up for calls, you missed the window. We stopped taking calls at 11. But if you want your 1 hour call, 1 hour long coaching call, you can, this icon right here, click that button at the bottom of the screen, shoot me a message. I'll ask you about your situation. If I can help, I will send you a link where you can book your call. Comes with 2 weeks of DM support. Also understand that we are limiting people calling in multiple times. Because some people think that they're going to keep calling into the live and asking additional questions. That's not how this will work. You're going to have to pay. We anxious folk are crazy. Right. And this is coming from someone who was anxious. You can still call me anxious. I like earned secure, but like I lean anxious. Can 2 avoidance work? There's nothing to make them attracted to one another. See, part of the reason why the avoidant likes the anxious person is because the anxious person does all the heavy lifting in the relationship. You get 2 avoidant people together, who's going to do the heavy lifting? The avoidant needs somebody to pursue. They need someone to pursue them. Another avoidant isn't going to do that. So that's like the least likely pairing. You'll see 2 anxious people together before you see 2 avoidant people together. But what if one leans anxious? Yeah, one is fearful avoidant, sure. If you're saying avoidant that leans anxious, you're talking about a fearful avoidant. So yeah, you'll see a fearful avoidant and avoidant. The fearful avoidant typically shows up as more anxious when they're with an avoidant, and they show up as more avoidant when they're with somebody anxious. It polarizes them to the other end of the spectrum. That's how that works. Can fearful avoidant date a secure man? Yeah, but they're probably gonna be left. A fearful avoidant, when they're with an anxious person, they tend to show up more like an avoidant, and when they're with an avoidant person, they tend to show up more like an anxious person. Wouldn't that mean they would show up secure with a secure person? No. Why would they? They have two insecure attachment styles, not one secure one. What about a woman who leans avoidant and a man who leans anxious? You're basically saying an avoidant and an anxious person. Yeah, that's just an anxious avoidant dynamic. That's probably the worst pairing you can have. It's damn near a textbook trauma bond when you have anxious and avoidant together. Negative plus negative equals positive. Not in this situation, Eva. Not in this situation, Eva. We're just trying to learn. I know you're trying to learn, Mike. What you mean? Not in this situation. Fearful avoidance, y'all go get the help y'all need. So if an anxious person, okay, we're having an attachment hour. Y'all got a lot of questions about attachment style. So if an anxious person dates a secure person, do they create problems? Okay, here's what happens. A secure person and an insecure person, there's a gap there. Okay, there's a gap. If the insecure person is willing to grow, has the capacity, and is intentional, they can learn to move to security by being in a relationship with an anxious person. Okay? But if you have a secure person and an insecure person, and the insecure person is not willing to grow, they could bring the secure person down to their level. That's why you hear securely attached people get with avoidantly attached people, and then they become anxious. But they're only anxious within that connection. Outside of it, they're not anxious. Now, here's the thing. Nobody's perfectly secure. This is a spectrum. Think of it like a spectrum. So even if you are secure, you either have an anxious lean or an avoidant lean, right? No one's perfectly secure. So what happens is when that secure person with the insecure person, if the insecure person is not like raising up to meet them at their level, then it triggers their innate insecure attachment, wherever they lean, and then they kind of like lower down to that level. So if you're a secure person and you get with an insecure person, it needs to be an insecure person who is willing to grow, who is trying to do better, who's growth oriented. Because if not, you like that boogie? Yeah. You know, a lot of things change, brother. Constant reinvention, big dog. See, if you had these on, Boogie, your blood pressure would rise and you would have to go to the emergency department. You would have to buy in the sausage fingers, right? And the rings would get stuck. So, I don't have that problem, though. I don't have that. I got to call Shelton back, bro. Shelton called me like 2 days ago. I still only called him back. I had so many coaching calls. I know he's like, he done cursed me out. We will leave if they don't make progress working themselves. Now, all secure people leave. You got to handle the biz, bro. Right. Got to. He called me like in the middle of a coaching call the other day. I'll call him back. But tell me about some script. Do you think anxious attachments cause from being with too many avoidance? No. Anxious attachments cause in childhood. Attachment styles are formed in childhood. You can like learn insecure behavior, but fundamentally it's caused in childhood. Well, the last minute questions we have before I get out of here. Anxious in one relationship, avoiding in another. Am I fearful? Could be. It's very possible. It's very, very possible. But y'all gotta work on this stuff, though. Gotta work on this stuff. Because it severely negatively impacts your relationships. And everything, no matter where you are, can improve. But you gotta really work to improve it. Okay, I got you tomorrow, Book. How they feel anxious, right? Like, in order for you to heal like your attachment style, a prerequisite is you got to make yourself uncomfortable. You got to get uncomfortable. If you're in love with comfort, you're not going to grow. You got to get uncomfortable. People are like, how do I not be avoidant? You got to get uncomfortable. How do I not be anxious? You got to get uncomfortable. You can't heal it with comfort. It doesn't work. All right, Karina, take care of love. So you got to get uncomfortable. That means the avoidant person has to lean into connection. That means the anxious person has to be okay with space. And they have to be okay with questioning their assumptions, because oftentimes they will find issues that aren't really there. Somatic therapy is wonderful, right? What's up, Gigi? That's the annoying and frustrating part. Right. But you build capacity. Every time you do the opposite of what your attachment style is telling you, you build capacity. When you want to react, don't. Correct. You build capacity. That's how I became earn secure. It's like, okay, I just built capacity for it. When I would feel anxious, I would like not act on it. Over time, wasn't a problem anymore. But I also wasn't like textbook anxious. I was with someone who had avoidant tendencies, and that influenced me to be more anxious. The work just does not stop. That's life. Is Maya identifying with a fearful avoidant? I thought we said Maya was avoidant. So did she just have an aha moment that she's fearful avoidant now? Oof. That's rough. Do you change inside the relationship or by being alone? You can build capacity alone, but you only fundamentally heal your attachment style in a relationship, because you have to be triggered in order to heal from your triggers. You got to be triggered in order to heal from your triggers. You will only be triggered within the relationship. But you can certainly build capacity. Exposure therapy, right? Exactly. It's ultimately the path. So you got to see, like, how much courage do you have? How much tolerance for discomfort do you have? Because that's what it ultimately boils down to. Can you be comfortable being uncomfortable? Until your nervous system adapts. A journey for sure. What are you, Gigi? Are you anxious? I think I went from anxious to being comfortable by myself. That's building capacity as an anxious person, because anxious people don't like being alone. So when you're single and you're an anxious person and you spend time alone and you actually start enjoying your solitude, that's you building capacity. So now you're less fearful of abandonment, because being abandoned isn't that bad. Which will manifest as you being less anxious in your relationship. Gigi, fearful avoidant. Really? I didn't peg you for fearful avoidant. Interesting. Okay. A lot of fearful avoidance, man. More than I thought. Okay, people. I'm going to go ahead and head out. Again, if you want your 1 hour coaching call with 2 weeks of DM support, this icon right here, hit that button at the bottom of the screen. Shoot me a message. You can just shoot me the word coach. I'll ask you about your situation. If I can help you, I will send you a link for you to book your call. Okay? This girl's been living for my eyes tonight. Thank you. No problem, love. I don't go live on Sunday, so you will not see me tomorrow. But I will be live again Monday at noon Eastern time and 9 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're new here, make sure to follow. Okay? Appreciate the mods. Appreciate the chat. I will see you